Hey everyone, Steve here. Thanks for tuning into the podcast. Stay tuned to the end to check out our song, Nothing New, Waste of Space, Nothing New Reprised. A song from our new live double bootleg album, Live, Laugh, Love the Alliterates, 2022 to 2024. Now available on all sorts of streaming platforms and Bandcamp. Check it out.
Okay, so we're going to do one of these podcasts. And we're going to do one about Jethro Tull at some point.
We will.
And we're going to do a passion play.
I'm also going to make you listen to Hawkwind for one. I think you'll actually like it.
Because the passion play is about a guy who pretty much dies and he goes to hell, and then he's like, he doesn't want to go to heaven, so he ends up going to hell, and then he goes down to hell, and he's not really fond of that either, and he's like, you know, I'd rather be in hell, but I think I'd rather be alive as well.
Sounds like the good place.
Right.
There's a suicide song called Frankie Teardrop about a guy who kills his family and goes to hell. And it's like 10 minutes long.
Nice.
There's also a Jethro Tull song where an ant gets swallowed by a sparrow, who gets swallowed by a cat, who gets swallowed by a kangaroo, who gets swallowed by an elephant. The elephant throws it all up, and the ant goes back to what it was doing. That's the whole song.
It sounds like it's about something.
No. It's just about animals. Well, it mentions that we're all animals, so we're all trying to swallow each other's ants, I guess. I don't know.
Are we going to have Dan for the Trout Mask replica album?
We should. It'd be funnier to have Sean. We can have Dan and Sean for that.
Well, I'm trying to plan doubles for my contributions.
Bring me on for all the weird ones.
Have you ever listened to Trout Mask Replica by Captain Beefheart?
I have no idea what that is.
Okay.
Do you know who Captain Beefheart is at
I
all?
do, yes. Beefheart. I think there's a acid jazz band called Lake Trout, isn't there?
I think so.
They have a flutist.
Probably bring you on for that Floyd record up there.
Oh, yeah.
Piper at the Gates of Dawn.
Floyd.
And for a long time, that was their best record. Until Dark Side of the Moon, really. Like, it took them a while to get...
Yeah, Echoes was also really good, but I think you're right that Dark Side was the first one that was better than that one.
Yeah.
And then after that, it was just brilliance until it imploded. So.
Yeah.
One of the best lines in all of music. Hanging on in quiet desperation is the English way.
I recently watched a documentary about Sid Barrett. It was really sad.
Yeah,
No doubt that it was.
He had an interesting, unfortunately, life.
I think his decline was probably accelerated by doing way too much acid, but it would have happened eventually. Like, the amount of acid he did was, like, all of his friends from, like, the days before Pink Floyd were like, yeah, it was the 60s, everyone was doing acid. Nobody was doing it like Sid.
That says a lot.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine being on acid, like, as much as he was.
No, like, I think at some point, like, how do you even tell what's real anymore?
Yeah.
If your default state is hallucinating.
I wonder if he, like, ever recovered, like, later in his life. I know he got really private.
I think, yeah. It sounds like by the end of his life, he was just dealing with normal mental illness and not, like, acid flashbacks.
Yeah, I think so.
He also, though, it took him a long time to run out of money because Piper kept selling, and then Bowie covered See Emily Play and released it as a single. I think so that Sid would be financially taken care of, but yeah.
I think it was Gilmore that said he always made sure that Sid got his payments, which good on Gilmore for that, because a lot of musicians, even musicians that I admire, that wouldn't have gone to that effort.
Yeah, Gilmore also, the one who worked with him the least was the one, when he was in Pink Floyd, was the one who worked with him the most for his solo stuff.
Yeah, well, his two solo albums, I think, were, I mean, you can't really call them Pink Floyd records, but it had a lot of Pink Floyd people on them.
Yeah,
We'll probably do both of those someday.
Yeah, they remind me somewhat of Piper. They don't remind me anything of any later thing Pink Floyd did, which Piper does a little bit, but
yeah. All right. Well, we're already going, so welcome to the show. You guys ready?
Yes.
You guys ready for some side 1, side B with Dave and Steve?
Mm-hmm.
And Dan. How you doing, Dan?
I'm like a kid in front of the microphone, man. I just watch myself.
Oh, you clipped it.
That is an impressive clip.
All right, that's too close, Mr. Quiet.
Sorry.
All right, how's everybody doing today?
Doing all right. Are we not doing the normal intro?
I guess not.
Okay.
What's the normal intro?
Welcome to Side 1, Side B with Dave and Steve. I'm Steve.
And that is not the voice you use, but I'm Dave. And today we have a guest with us. Say hi, Dan.
Hi ho, Kermit the Frog here. Hi, it's Dan.
He does that every time.
In case you didn't know.
Yeah. So, Steve, what do you have for us today?
I have an album by one of my favorite singers. What do you guys know about the band System of a Down?
Pretty much. What's up?
They were one of the few new metal bands that I considered good.
Dan, at one point, I remember seeing you do a really killer karaoke version of Ariel's, which is why I picked you for this episode.
Oh.
And so that was cool.
Yeah, I remember when Chop Suey first. Well, that was the first song I heard by them when it first hit the radio, and thinking, oh hey, this sounds kind of weird and different, and it changes a lot. It sounds like it's two different songs that are kind of mashed together, but it works still, and can't tell what the lyrics are for the fast part because it's that fast, but has all these references to the crucifixion, which is cool, but in a way that's not obvious what they're going for. So
Yeah.
Spawned 1,000 parodies too.
Before we started broadcasting, we were actually listening to the B50. What was it, the B69s?
B69s,
Yeah, the
yeah.
B69s version of Chop Suey, and
Wake up! Why don't you put on a little makeup?
I don't think you trust in my
Self-righteous suicide.
which worked so well that I almost wonder, is System of a Down just distorted B-52s? It's like if you added, like, I don't know, New York hardcore in with it or something.
Serge would probably be all into that.
Oh, if he's heard it, I guarantee he liked it.
yeah.
He seems like the kind of guy that would have loved that. But
I bet if you dig through the likes on YouTube, one of them is Serge's alt. The one that he doesn't make public yet.
I saw a story that Serge told a journalist, I really wish people would stop coming up to me and just going, "Wake up!" Oh, I clipped it this time.
He said the shit out of me, first of all.
That's pretty much exactly what he said. Man, you scared the shit out of me. Stop that.
Wake up! Ah!
Oh, clipped again. This is the clip episode.
I go from
Are we-
very quiet to very, very loud.
Are we ever going to do
Like
a
the
clip?
Pixies.
Yeah. Yes, like the Pixies. Are we ever going to do a clip show? We should sometime.
I figure at the end of the season, which is coming up.
Yeah,
You
we
guys
have what?
actually have a season?
Yeah.
Yeah. We initially set it to the average episodes of length of the Next Generation.
I see. Okay.
But I think we're going to do slightly more because we ended up adding a couple things. But
Yeah, and then we're going to take a little break. Although we are going to do an Election Day special,
yeah,
which we should probably schedule soon.
yeah. Since
Ooh, what songs are we going to do for that? Or are we going to do just talking?
we are going to do the Iced Earth Glorious Burden album because he was caught in the Capitol on January 6th and went to jail for it. And the album is a bunch of patriotic garbage.
I think someone should do a mashup album between that and Ariel Pink, who's an indie guy who also got caught doing a January 6th, and then put some Mr. Show clips in it too with the one guy from Mr. Show who got caught doing a January 6th.
A guy from Mr. Show got caught doing that?
Yeah, not Bob or David.
No,
but the guy who played Jimmy Pesto on Bob's Burgers.
Oh my god. I bet David Cross was appalled / thought that was hilarious.
Yeah. I can't think of any comedian that would have that reaction more about a former colleague than David Cross, honestly.
Wow. Well, anyway, back to System of a Down. System of a Down's one of those bands that I think kind of got lumped into nu metal because they didn't know where else to put them. Because, they have elements of it. You can tell that they were fans of it, but I don't know. In some ways, I'd almost call them like new hardcore.
Yeah, it sounds more like hardcore than nu metal. Like, it doesn't have any of like the doesn't have really like any of the hip hop type stuff that nu metal was trying to draw from, or like the electronica,
Yeah, exactly.
industrial stuff nu metal was trying to draw from.
Yeah, and they said that they intentionally avoided that too. So, yeah, they make sense with the other nu metal bands, but like they're
What would be some of the
a little
other
different.
nu metal bands around that time? Like we're talking about, like maybe Stained and like Puddle of Mud, that kind of shit.
No, that was like new grunge, or like
Okay.
Korn and Limp Bizkit.
Yeah.
Stained would be considered nu metal, but I think they weren't the first generation. System came up around the same time as Korn.
See, I thought Korn was way before that.
Korn came
Korn's-
out in '94.
Yeah, Korn
and-
started super early.
System of a Down did actually start a little later because their first one I think was '97. They were demoing since around the same time as Korn. I think their first demo came out in '94. So yeah, maybe you are right. I'd say they were contemporaries with Deftones, Slipknot,
Gotcha. I do like Deftones.
Yeah, Deftones is
Mudvayne.
Yeah,
Okay.
people will count Rage Against the Machine. I don't really count them as nu metal.
They're not.
Yeah.
I kind of, how like.
I got a funny story about Rage Against the Machine.
Oh, go ahead.
Well, you have to meet my brother. He's kind of like almost as tall as me, but like skinnier than Dave, like way skinnier. And he wanted the Rage Against the Machine CD for Christmas once. And I had never heard them before. I was like, oh, these guys must be metal, man. This is probably going to be pretty cool. I gave him the CD. He got all excited. He stuck it in the CD player. He's like 3 years older than me, by the way. He's no kid. He stuck it in the CD player. Renegades of Funk comes on, and he starts dancing the most ridiculous, stupid white guy dance I've ever seen to Renegades of Funk with this big shit-eating grin on his face. And I'm sitting there going, what the fuck is this?
That was off of their covers album too. That was like late in the run.
I was so disappointed and like, is this what it is? And why do you like it? I was very much a music snob back then. I still kind of am, but I've softened.
I think to a certain degree, all of us are. I'm probably the least snobby these days, but
I always liked Rage. I like all three of their albums, but their covers album is a little hit or miss for me.
I kind of see Rage Against the Machine as a nu metal band in the same way that Guns N' Roses is a hair metal band, whereas they have all the elements, but they aren't quite.
No, yeah. GNR wanted to be a punk band even though they weren't.
Yeah, they were. Duff wanted them to be a punk band. I'm sure the rest of them like that stuff too, but
Yeah,
he was
well-
the most punk, I think.
Well, yeah, like their cover album is all punk songs. There are only punk songs on the, what was that, the Spaghetti Incident?
Yeah, no, there were some other, like Hair of the Dog was on there. That was a Nazareth cover. I'm trying to think of some of the other ones on there.
There's Ain't It Fun by the Dead Boys. There was, I can't remember now, but yeah.
We should do that one someday.
That would be one to do with Pete, I think.
Yeah, it would. That'd be a good Pete episode. But yeah, so back to System of a Down. They were a band that I initially came across pretty early into my musical discovery phase because I was in my I hate all nu metal phase. And then I discovered that SERJ was like a leftist, and his lyrics were really leftist, and he was really anti-Iraq war, really anti-interventionalist, which was and still is basically my politics today. And so when I found that out, I'm like, oh, well, shit. I mean, I'm at least gonna give it its due if he sings about shit that matters, because I think Limp Bizkit's fun. Like, I like listening to Limp Bizkit sometimes just because it's fun, but their lyrics are not deep in the slightest.
Like, Limp Bizkit, there's, you know, like, it kind of wraps around to me to so bad it's good.
Exactly.
Like,
yeah.
Nookie is hilarious.
And I think, you know, they know that, because I mean they called their last album Limp Bizkit Still Sucks, so at least they have a sense of humor about
I've
themselves.
seen.
Yeah.
One time I saw like one of those VH1 thing countdown of the worst metal songs of all time, and they had Rollin' on there, and they were like, it's hard to pick on this song too much because, as Fred Durst says, it just cuts to a picture of Fred Durst backstage saying, "'Cause we suck."
Well, and, you know, break stuff. When I'm having a bad day, that song just hits just right, and it's stupid. It really is.
Their cover of Faith is just plain bad, I think. But yeah.
You have a very good cover of Behind Blue Eyes, though, which I really, really enjoy.
Ooh, Sean would punch you right now.
Why?
I said the same thing, and he got mad at me.
Why? It's a good version.
I thought so too, but Sean does not.
Okay, well.
So if you're listening, I'll give you Dan's address and you go punch him.
Sean, fuck off. No, I'm kidding.
I mean, if you listen to the Kiss episode, that is not surprising. Sean has opinions,
I see. Interesting.
which is why he's fun to have on the podcast.
Mm-hmm, yep.
Which
I think it's funny, and he's like, I don't know about the Pixie episodes. I don't think it was. I think we were too positive. I'm like, Sean, most of our episodes are positive.
we just bring you on when we want unfiltered negativity. Which isn't entirely true, because we also had him for the B-52s episode, which was
Nega Vomit.
which was a very positive episode because that album kicks ass. But yeah,
we are gonna. Is he part of the lineup on the finale?
yeah.
Okay, yeah. We'll have him talking shit about Def Leppard with the rest of us.
Of course. Gotta talk shit about Def Leppard.
And then, like, Korn is another band that I think they're good musicians. I think, for the most part, especially in the early days, they wrote good songs. Do not like their sound at all.
Really?
There's
Well,
nothing-
I like them musically. I do
You
not
don't
like John.
that punch bass?
Oh, I love the bass. The bass is one of the best parts of Korn.
Yeah.
I cannot stand Jonathan Davis's vocals.
I can't stand his
Really?
vocals or his lyrics.
Interesting.
Like, you can do lyrics about that kind of subject. I have done lyrics about child abuse. It's just...
It's gonna be better tomorrow.
It just comes across as so whiny.
Yeah, it is whiny. He goes from, like, whiny child to, like, demonic vengeance demon.
Artistically, I absolutely get it. I from an artistic standpoint, I like what he does. I just don't like listening to it.
Gotcha.
Have you guys ever had another band where it's like, I respect them, I like the idea of what they're doing, but it just doesn't hit for me?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what that would be, though, for me.
That's interesting. I think probably Smashing Pumpkins.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that'd be a good one. 'Cause
I
love the music. I fucking hate his voice.
Me too. And people are like, why? And like, because it's dumb.
I think I like 2 Smashing Pumpkin songs, and the rest don't click with me. I like Bullets with Butterfly Wings, and I like 1979.
Yeah,
I think that's it.
That's a good one, yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, he seems like a nice guy. I've never heard anything bad about the guy. The band seems pretty like straightforward and just normal. You know, their
I've heard he's
music is good.
I've heard he's a bit of a transphobe, unfortunately. But
That what?
yeah.
Yeah, that's a more recent development.
That seems
I've heard people in his
shocking to me.
I've heard people in his band don't like him and consider him a control freak too.
Yeah, but at the same time,
I've heard that about a lot of
Yeah,
musicians.
you can say that about like David Byrne. So
Yeah.
and he seems like an okay guy to know outside of music. And
He seems like an okay guy to know in music. David Byrne,
If
not
you're the-
Billy Corgan, but yeah, David Byrne seems like a person that is okay to know within music now, but maybe not in 1980.
Yeah.
well, and I think he's got his he's come out as autistic, right?
Yeah,
And as an autistic person myself, it's like I understand how it feels when you have a specific vision for something in your head. So I can respect that about David.
Yeah.
yeah.
Unfortunately, his bandmates for a long time didn't seem to agree, but it seems like they're
Well, they probably did.
at least getting along as friends again, which is nice to see.
Yeah, I don't think we'll ever see a reunion, but they're at the point where they can hang out together now.
Yeah. Speaking of bands that all hang out together and play music but won't have a new album. Back to System of a Down.
This is more meandering as an intro than we usually do, even.
Yeah, this is good though.
Well, you know,
Covering lots of bases.
people are tuning in to listen to us talk, so
Yeah.
I figure that's probably a good thing. So, I discovered System of a Down, I want to say around 2003, 2004. I bought Toxicity because, as I said, I respected Serj's anti-Iraq War positions. And, you know, I think Prison Song is a fantastic domestic politics song.
I like Sugar a lot, too.
Yeah, Sugars. That's on their first album.
Yeah.
Their song Deer Dance, I think, is a really good political song. BYOB off of Hypnotize, I think, or Mesmerize, I forget. One of those two. One of my favorite songs that I'm working on a cover of that you all will see under my solo banner at some point. In fact, I'm planning on releasing my first single on November 7th, so keep an eye out on that.
Sweet.
So I got Toxicity. It took me a while to get into it because I was very much into my thrash metal only phase. But, you know, songs like Prison Song have that intensity. So I think it was easier for me to get into them because of that. And then as time went on, my tastes got weirder. So as my tastes got weirder, of course, System of a Down just made more sense to me. So eventually, when SERJ decided that he wanted to take a break from System of a Down and just start doing solo stuff and released Elect the Dead, I bought that the day it came out. And we were talking about this earlier, Dave. You're a fan of Beethoven's Cunt.
Yeah,
That.
Yeah, and to me that still sounds like System of a Down. And I know like his solo stuff eventually doesn't just sound like System of a Down, but yeah, that is a good song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to me, I think
Beethoven's Cunt is pretty tight. Sorry, I'm a dad now. I get to make dad jokes.
that's all right. I'm not a dad, and I make dad jokes all the time. Yeah, and to me, I think this has all come out since then, since he just recently released his autobiography. But at the time, SERJ wanted more creative reign because Hypnotize and Mesmerize were both Darren, their guitar player's vision, I'd say. And SERJ was getting tired of him like hogging the songwriting credits, and the reason they haven't done an album again to this day is because I think he just wants a guarantee on 5 or 6 songs that he gets no matter what. And the other guys, they want to like vote on the songs and be democratic, and I respect both positions. On one hand, you know, it sounds like SERJ has been left out of the writing process quite a bit, and he wants a chance to get more songs on an album, and I respect that. And you know, I don't mean to put it this way, but market value wise, I think he's the most important member of the band.
Oh, easily.
I mean, he's the only member of the band that I know the name of.
Yeah.
So,
And of course, he's going to leverage that. At the same time, as somebody that's very democratic myself, in band situations, I understand why the rest of the band wants to do that process where they all decide on what songs go on the album. So I get it. I respect that they still get together and play shows and are friends despite having these disagreements. Because I've read interviews where they said, oh yeah, we have bitter disagreements about the direction of the next album. We still get together, play shows. We're still friends. SERJ is brothers-in-laws with their stupid fascist drummer, so.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that guy.
Yeah. John.
That's really disappointing when you find out the political views of someone that you respected as a musician.
John, I don't think listens to the lyrics. And I don't mean that as an insult. I think he literally doesn't care. I think he's just like, oh, that's SERJ's part. I just do the drums.
yeah.
And I don't know. It's frustrating because it seems to me, based on what I hear from like fans that have met him and people that go into his comic book store, it seems like he's a super nice guy and treats people with respect in person. But he gets on his Twitter and he talks about how much he loves Trump, and he talks about anti-trans shit. And it's like, do you talk that way to trans people that come into your comic shop? Like, why are you doing it on the internet? Come on,
Yeah.
John.
Come on, John. Do better.
Like, I don't even criticize him for not being a Democrat because, you know, Dave and I, in general, aren't fans of the Democratic Party either. That doesn't mean you go running to the other side. Like, I'd have more respect for him if he was right-wing in a libertarian sense. I'd understand that. But instead, he's part of this fucking Trump cult. So, while drumming along to songs that SERJ wrote that are very anti-Trump. Like, Trump wasn't a thing yet, but his songs, I would say, are anti-Trump.
Yeah, well, George W. Bush successfully overthrew an election, so...
Yeah, exactly. I sometimes have to remind people of that. Like, oh, George Bush, he did the peaceful transition of power, and I'm like, eventually. He positioned himself as president after losing the popular vote and rigged the election in Florida.
Yeah, if you were to do a legitimate count of the votes in Florida, he lost. Look up the Brooks Brothers riot.
Yeah.
Look up the Supreme Court case of Bush versus Gore. That was a stolen election.
Yeah. So it's like, John, you can be anti-Democrat. None of us have a problem with that, I don't think.
Yeah.
But yeah, being part of this Trump bullshit, it's not anti-government. It's not anti-establishment. Trump elected the most Trump appointed the most establishment Republicans to his administration. You can't fucking claim that anymore.
Yeah, there was nothing. He, for the most part, just governed as a more loud, bog standard Republican.
Yeah,
It's funny. It's like the Swamp Thing going in saying, "I'm going to drain the swamp," but you're the Swamp Thing.
Oh, but he
You
made
are
the swamp
of the
even
swamp.
swampier.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So it's like, yeah, you can't call yourself anti-establishment and support Trump. Like, if you were like a Ron Paul guy, I think Ron Paul was kind of naive, but I understand his support.
Yeah. Yeah, no, the administrative state that gets called the swamp is less corrupt than what Trump was doing, too.
Yeah, exactly.
I do think that people that are Trump supporters are not high-minded in any way, shape, or form about, these people are entrenched, we got to get them out, we need a fresh voice in there. I think they're using that to hide behind the fact that they are finally free to be bigoted.
Oh,
assholes.
100%. 100%.
That's the only thing.
Because there are some people that I've even known in real life that supported him around 2016 and have since run in the other direction. And it's like, sometimes I feel like I could have told you that in 2016, but I'll give some people a pass on that. Like, I get it. He was an outside thing. I was a Bernie Sanders supporter, and he's not really a political outsider, but as far as policies, he's a political outsider, I'd say, because, the rest of the Democrats kind of shun him.
Yeah.
So...
He's definitely an outsider.
Yeah, I get...
But he's a humanist. That is the difference. He is a human person in every way, shape, and form, and he fights for humanity. I mean, at least that's what it comes across to me, is he is fighting for us as people, not as corporations, like what someone else like Trump would be, and some Democrats would be.
Biden's probably one of the most pro-corporate presidents. I think Kamala is going to be just as pro-corporate as any of the Democrats. I'm still going to vote for her, but I don't expect any wide sweeping changes with any Democrats. So it's like, I get it, John. I get it.
Yeah.
We know you're listening.
Yes. John, have a seat.
John,
Join us on
I
the
actually
podcast
want to like you.
sometime.
Please reevaluate your positions. Anyway, so SERJ's first solo album was actually a pretty good success. A lot of people bought it. And he just didn't end up going back to a System of a Down. After that one, he did more of a classical album, which we were listening to as I was setting up. That one didn't sound like System of a Down at all. And then 2012 comes along, and that's the setting for today, is his Harakiri album. This album came out in a time that I completely missed it. I did not know about it until about 10 years after it came out. And then I listened to it, and it took me a second to get into it at first because I wouldn't call it a metal album. It's more of a rock album. It has that modern rock sound from, the 2012, like the 2010s era. But I would say it was employed very well. And the lyrics on this one, I would say, are incredible. So that's what we'll be putting on today. And we'll start by having Dave, since you're holding it, go ahead and talk about the artwork.
Okay, the front of it, it's interesting use of color. Is this beardless SERJ?
Well, it looks like he has a little facial hair on the front, but yes, that was before he had his beard.
Yeah. So like he's here on the cover. There's like an interesting use of color with this. There's like paint splotches like red and white and black on like a teal background. That looks like there's like a little modern pop art piece on his goatee here. His eyes, like one is like reddish orange, the other is blue. It looks like a paint tone, like it was added with paint. Then on the back, here's the track listing, and they're all written like Joker graffiti style.
Yeah.
Bright colors too, like red, green, purple. And then when you take it out of the sleeve, it is red vinyl.
Blood red.
Blood red.
There's also an insert in there.
Like the mood. Yeah, the insert has the lyrics.
Was there anything else interesting on that? I don't remember.
On the front and back, not really. Like the back is just the song titles. So the color and
No, I mean on the insert.
Oh, I am trying to get it out.
Dave's pull-out game isn't very strong right now.
Make that pull-out game weak.
Dave is
What as P word?
we have. I was about to say we have Dave Grohl in the studio here, not Dave Dick.
Yeah. Very weak pull-out game, Dave Grohl.
For a guy named Dave Dick, you better have a good pull-out game.
I just don't know how you're that successful as a rock star and not know how to use a condom.
Or like get a vasectomy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He has enough money he can get a vasectomy and get it reversed whenever he wants.
Right.
All right. So the inside, the pull-out is like the credits are pretty normal, black background, red letters. Then you have the lyrics, red background, white letters, yellow title, kind of splotchy red paint, kind of like blood, but it does evoke paint more. And then on the back you have like this really cool art piece where it looks like it's SERJ skateboarding on top of a modern pop art piece. Yeah, he doesn't have the beard; he just has the goatee. So that is him on the cover.
Here, keep that sleeve out. I'm going to talk about the lineup here.
All right, pass that over.
And I will continue to pet the kitty.
So we'll talk about the lineup here. On his first solo album, he had a different backing group, and I'm looking up what they were called. Oh, maybe he didn't have no, he just had different musicians. When he went on tour, he had a backing band called, what's the name of the censorship group? The FC...
The,
Starfuckers?
yeah.
No, like the literal government censorship agency.
The FCC?
Yeah, the FCC. His backing band was called the FCCs.
I see.
Or the FCC.
Right.
That's not the group that he has on this record. I think he just wanted to work with different people, and it sounds like that's just what he likes to do. Is he likes to work with different people. There are. Let's see, what do we got here? There are a lot of people on this album. Let's see, we got Troy Ziegler on drums. Additional guitars by Dan Monti. Additional bass by Mario Pagliarulo. Pagliarulo. Mario P. An ode, O-U-D, performed by Andrew Kazarian.
It's just the ood.
Not from Doctor Who, I assume. Additional vocals by Ange. Drums on track 11 by Jeff Muserol. And additional guitars on track 11 by Charlie Chronopoulos. And it says all songs written, performed, and produced by SERJ TANKIAN'S. So I'm assuming he does most of the instruments besides the drums, I want to say. There's violins by David Finch and additional instruments on track 11 by Tom Dupre, Vincent Puduella, and Robert Simring. And it was engineered by Dan Monti and SERJ TANKIAN. And is that how you say his name, or is it Tankian? Tankian? SERJ Tank? I should have looked it up first.
Yeah, I don't really know Armenian.
How do you pronounce SERJ TANKIAN?
I love technology.
Hold on, I gotta turn my volume up.
SERJ TANKIAN.
Tankian?
Look at SERJ.
Yeah.
It's SERJ. SURZH. I didn't know that. I thought it was SERJ. So SERJ.
Well, he says right here, I'd like to specifically thank Don Monti for co-envisioning the sound of Harakiri, Troy Ziegler for recording, amazing takes at the blink of an eye, Mario P for the super bass, Steven Sater for his magical words and friendship. The boys in Choke and Jerk. Nice. That was Jeff Muzzroll, Charlie Chronopoulos, Vincent Pudella, Tom Dupre, David Finch, and Rob Simrang for their incredible Boston chops. So that must be like a different band that he just uses as a backing band. He goes on to thank other people. I'll keep it brief just for the sake of the podcast.
I do wonder if he ended up programming some of the instrumentation.
Probably. I know he's very prolific when it comes to like songwriting in like digitally. Like he talks about how easy it's gotten because you don't even need like actual instruments anymore. And I imagine like maybe his classical stuff is probably programmed. He has done an album with a symphony, which we should probably listen to sometime, and that was songs from his first record. But on
SERJ S&M.
That's another one I have on vinyl that we should do sometime.
Yeah, when it comes to me with a soothing light at the end of your tunnel.
Thank you, Dan. Let's see. We got this album was released on Round Hill Records, and we'll talk about the first side here. The first side has, I don't know what the track list is. I'm woefully unprepared.
The track list is on the back, but it doesn't break it up into sides.
Well, be positive about it. You're spontaneous.
I think it ends at Occupied Tears. That would make most sense. So we'll assume that, and hopefully I'm right. We got Cornucopia, Figure It Out, Ching Chime, Butterfly, Harakiri, and Occupied Tears. I really enjoyed the title track and Occupied Tears, both of which unfortunately have aged very well because Harakiri is about the environment and Occupied Tears is about Israeli aggression against Palestinians, which this album is now 12 years old, so
Wow.
Things have just gotten worse.
Prophetic.
Yeah. And it makes sense that SERJ had his fingers on the pulse of that well before anyone. I mean,
Well, people knew.
Yeah, people knew, but
Yeah. Well, and definitely Armenia has had its own fair share of issues too. So.
yeah. Record was made in the Czech Republic, and I think that's all we got for now. We'll go ahead and throw this on, and we'll be back with our thoughts.
Toodles.
Hello?
Sean, old buddy, how's it going?
Steve, I'm gonna have to call you back. I'm polishing my rods.
Well, I'll definitely have to let you get back to that. But first, I just wanted to let you know that our band, The Alliterates, has a new release out called Live, Laugh, Love. The Alliterates, 2022 to 2024. Now available on Bandcamp.
Okay, love ya. Bye.
Wet ass pussy.
Wet ass pussy.
Pussy. What is pussy?
And we're back. I didn't get all of that, but I got enough that it's going to be in the episode. All right, that was side one of Harakiri by SERJ. What'd you guys think?
I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
A lot of really complex, unique. I mean, you can tell that he really worked his ass off to make this sound not generic.
I was not expecting it to remind me as much of Rise Against as it ended up. It's kind of like melodic hardcore punk for the most part.
Yeah, the genre is listed as punk rock. It reminded him more of like the punkier material that System of a Down did in their earlier days than like anything heavy metal.
Yeah.
And to me, the biggest thing I heard, and this is probably just because of my musical biases, but I was reminded a lot of the Foo Fighters, especially on the first track and Butterfly. I could see the Foo Fighters both doing those songs.
Yeah. Well, the thing about the Foo Fighters is they're are a lot of people who were in punk bands before they were in the Foo Fighters, like Pat Smear.
Yeah. When we put it on, I even said, well, when it came up, that the only one I didn't really care for was Ching Chime. But then, as I was listening to it, I was like, maybe I was just annoyed by it early on, and I've gotten over it because it didn't annoy me this time. But yeah, usually I skip the song when I'm listening to it on CD. But
yeah, it was fine. Like, it was probably the weakest, but it was fine.
yeah,
I shouldn't have been nervous about the title, but I was nervous about the content of the title.
Yeah.
It obviously was not in any way, shape, or form derogatory toward Asians, but that's what I was fearing when I saw
that might have been why I was annoyed by it at first. Maybe I had that in my head or something. Because yeah, I remember having that same thought at one point.
Well, and then when he went super high on the vocals, for a second, my brain was starting to fill in blanks that weren't there. But yeah.
That's Passage to Bangkok. Yeah, lyrically, this is the case for the whole album, but lyrically there's a whole bunch of great content here, and yeah, it has a really great pop punk energy, but it's wasn't as sugary as pop punk usually is.
Yeah, and the songs were a bit longer, like they're 4-minute songs, so it was longer than a lot of music I've heard that sounds like it. But yeah, it reminded me a lot of the melodic hardcore type of bands like Rise Against, and I'm not gonna say it did remind me kind of Anti-Flag, although Just Insane got canceled for a good reason. But
well, Speaking of pop punk, did you guys see that Green Day is releasing all their stuff from their first album on these lo-fi machines, and they're doing giveaways? One's a floppy disk, one's a big mouth Billy Bass,
like Kerplunk, or the one before Kerplunk, that old. Or Dookie. Okay.
Was that not their first one?
That was their first major label.
Major label.
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha.
Please tell me they use that Talkmaster thing that Kevin used at Home Alone 2.
I hope so.
I think there was something like that. Yeah. I thought about entering to win the one with the big mouth Billy Bass, because that's the one with Basket Case on it, their biggest hit.
Do you have the time? Yeah.
Let's see, track by track, Cornucopia.
Is that the second song?
That's the first one.
That's the first one.
That's the one that reminded you guys of the Foo Fighters, and it did not sound like the Foo Fighters, but yeah, to me it did sound more like the melodic hardcore skate punk from this era. I really could see him on the stage at one of the bigger skate fest things. This sounded like this era of Warped Tour a lot to me.
Yeah, but there's a level of complexity, and the structure of it was way more refined and pronounced, I guess, than anything I would consider to be skate punk. Now, I will give you the caveat that I am not nearly as well versed in my genres as Steve and Dave are, but that's my feeling. As I was like, this is operatic, cinematic.
Dave might have more insight than I do, but I noticed that too. It has the sound, but it does have a level of complexity that doesn't typically seem to be present in that kind of music. Maybe you could clarify.
Well, I am talking about the more technical, melodic hardcore bands. I'm not talking Blink-182.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank God you're not talking about Blink-182. I'd have to leave.
Yeah. Hey, they had 2 good songs.
Debatable.
Or our own Omaha boys, 311.
311 I will fight for, because I think they've got some great music.
I'm not very familiar with them, actually. I just know that they're from
look
here.
up Flowing. Flowing is a fantastic fucking song. Funny story about 311. My uncle told me he used to work in contract, and he says, yeah, there was one time I was working on, it was the basement of the guy from U2's house. And I was like, what? Yeah, the guy from U2. His mom had to have her basement remodeled, so I'm working on this guy from U2's basement. And I'm like, which one? The Edge? Bono? Which, the bass player? What are you talking about? And then he finally comes around an hour later and goes, did I say U2? I meant 311. What the fuck, man?
I can't imagine anybody from U2 living in Omaha.
No.
Bono does like the Dundee Dell.
Yeah.
Or I don't know if they have the massive Scotch selection they used to, but yeah.
Yeah, Cornucopia definitely had that pop punk energy that I thought works really good with his voice.
Yeah. I got a lot of shades of Everlong by the Foo Fighters. Struck again by how nimble Serge's voice is, or Serge, Serge's voice is. It's just like really bouncing around, really solid. He's just got a firm command of his vocal cords. It's really amazing.
I was telling Dave while we were waiting for you that Serj might possibly be my favorite vocalist, but System of a Down isn't even in my top 10 favorite bands.
Yep. That speaks to the uniqueness of what he's doing.
So does that mean you like Serj's solo stuff better than System of a Down?
That's really hard to say because one thing I've noticed that System of a Down is pretty good at is they are good at reining in their songwriting. And there were some moments on even this album that I think kind of overstayed their welcome a little bit.
Yeah, I think.
I'd agree.
Not like, we did Dream Theater's episode last week where
Oh, God.
all of their songs,
songs
overstayed their
overstayed their
welcome by a
welcome.
lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Ultra
think,
complexity.
yeah, I think a few of these songs could have been a minute shorter.
Yeah.
Maybe, but I still didn't think they were like as long as they could be. I mean, of course, coming from the Tool perspective of let's play every song until it's just dead and buried, and then after the universe collapses into itself.
Well, I think a lot of times you don't get Tool, you get Dream Theater in that.
Yeah, for the most part, the length was good. I just think maybe the last two could have been tightened up a little bit.
See, I
was thinking
that for Ching Chime and Butterfly, but I think Harakiri and Occupied Tears were perfect.
That's interesting. I disagree. Occupied Tears, that was the last one, right?
Yeah.
Okay. See, this Occupied Tears was, to me, the most generic, musically speaking, song on the album. The structure wasn't unique at all until that change-up hit.
The jazz
with
part?
that little shuffle beat.
Yeah.
And I'm like, ooh, all right.
Yeah, because, if I was to pick a favorite track, it'd be Harakiri, and then it'd be Occupied Tears.
I think I gotta pick Butterfly just because that fucking chorus was just otherworldly, man. That just transportative.
Next song, Figure It Out. I think that was the first single.
Well, as a big Swerve Driver fan, I was reminded very much just in the very first couple seconds of Swerve Driver, and then it veered off in another direction.
Yeah, well, the first track leaned more into the melodic part of melodic hardcore. This leaned much more into the hardcore. I liked it. This one was probably my favorite out of all of them. I liked the way the spoken word bit didn't sound like spoken word in a song. It sounded like conversational.
Yeah.
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 But also in rhythm.
Yeah.
Which, it's hard to do.
Very hard to do.
Doing conversation in rhythm.
He originally wanted to call it Fuck Let's Figure It Out, but his label wouldn't let him do it. But it looks like on the Australian promo single, they labeled it Fuck Let's Figure It Out, so that's cool.
I can tell why it was the single, though. Not just because it's the shortest, but it kind of encapsulated the whole side at least, but the whole thing of what he was going for the album. So as the promotional single is in a way a commercial for the album. I thought this one was the one that kind of typified, distilled the album, what it was going for in a single song the most.
Yeah,
Lyrically or musically?
Musically.
Musically.
And that's
Lyrically, they all work on the same vein.
And that's one that sticks in my head for longer than most, and I think it's just because that Fuck Let's Figure It Out part is so catchy.
Yeah.
I thought he was saying, I wrote it down because I'm terrible at deciphering lyrics the first time around.
Yeah, me too.
Clock lights, figure it out. Clock lights, figure it out. No bullshit.
Well, it's
What the
like
hell is he saying?
it's like the first time I heard "Cult of Personality" by Living Colour, I thought the lyrics were "I'm a fucked up personality."
I'm a fucked up personality.
Like Joseph Stalin and Gandhi.
God.
That is true.
But for both of them,
Yes.
Gandhi is not as perfect as people like to present him as.
Nope.
Welcome to Dave's History Podcast.
Ching Chime. We talked about that one a little bit. It's
This was the weirdest.
yeah, it was the weirdest.
Weirdest, but not necessarily to me the most catchy. I mean, it was still catchy just because it was unique and weird, but not necessarily in a listenable way.
Like for the kind of like the Eastern plucked string sound that was going at the beginning.
Yeah.
I thought okay, is this gonna go in kind of Offspring come out and play direction, since a lot of this was leaning into the skate punk for me, and then it got to kind of the big sweeping soaring chorus. It's no, this sounds the most to me like metal now, and so it was kind of all over the place. I'm not saying that I didn't like it. It was hard to latch on to.
Yeah. Did it go into gonorrhea overtime for you?
Yes, it did.
For me, it was more of a syphilis overtime for me. It just kind of,
I appreciate a verse that rhymes every single line. As someone who does that sometimes, I appreciate the amount of work that goes into writing a verse like that.
I think rhyming in song lyrics is definitely an underrated thing. And, yeah, I always strive to do it myself when I write songs.
Because, like, this had a good flow to it. It sounded good. It didn't sound like... I mentioned the song to Steve earlier this week via text because we were talking about songs that we otherwise like, but the lyrics kind of ruin, which is Thieves Like Us by New Order, which has such lyrics as... Love is the cure for every evil. Love is the wind, it supports the eagle. Like some of the worst lyrics I've ever heard in anything.
What?
Yeah, it's bad.
Hey, we should ask the New Order mod that got me banned from Reddit what he thinks of those lyrics.
What's another word that starts with E?
Send him a
that
message
kinda
and he can
sounds
ban
like
you.
It should rhyme with evil but doesn't. Eagle.
And also, love is the cure for every evil has nothing to do with the rest of the verse, so it's just really forced in there.
Maybe the producer was like, dude, we gotta have some love in this album. Come on, man. Just put it in there somewhere. All right, fine.
Reminds me of on Metallica's Ride the Lightning album, that song Escape. Hetfield absolutely hates it because he considers it a song that the record company forced him to make.
And you know what? Fuck Hetfield. I love that song, man. That's a fucking kick-ass song.
Life's for my own, to live my own way.
I don't understand why he hates it so much, but it is the weakest song on Ride the Lightning.
Yeah, I disagree.
Oh, well.
Really disagree.
I got that one on vinyl, so I guess we'll have to do that one sometime.
Although, the Metallica album we should really do for this show
Kill 'em
is
all.
Saint Anger.
Oh, God.
Well,
The Invisible Kid didn't know what he did. The Invisible Kid done flipped his lid.
well, we're planning on 99 or 98, 99, and 100 to be Metal Machine music, Saint Anger, and then Lulu. So at least we said that a long time ago.
Yeah, we'll see if we'll
see if we
it.
hold to
That's
that.
That's going to be like season 4.
There's one
This isn't a
moment,
contract, by the way.
there's one moment in Saint Anger that really gets me going every time I hear it, despite the obvious flaws in the album, and that's when he screams "Set it free." I feel that deep down in my bones.
After
Set
watching,
it free!
The thing with Saint Anger is whatever good moments can be found get overshadowed to me by that snare drum.
Oh yeah.
it's really funny, and this is another fun part about knowing Pete, is he says he actually likes the drum sound on Saint Anger.
Maybe we do Pete as the guest on that episode then.
You totally should. That would be hilarious.
I feel like that's one we should get a bunch of people together for. For me, it's like I actually enjoy Saint Anger, not necessarily musically, but because Some Kind of Monster documentary gives me context. It really is the soundtrack of a band falling apart, and I think that's interesting.
That is.
If
And
not
that
it's not the most pleasant thing to listen to.
And that they ultimately did not fall apart is also interesting.
Yeah.
Like that they somehow worked through that.
Newstead would disagree.
Well, in the last 3 albums they did, I think were pretty solid.
Yeah, no, like I've liked the last 3 albums they did. I wasn't expecting to though.
Yeah. No, after Saint Anger, I thought Metallica was a legacy band, and they were done. But the last 3, especially that last one they did, it really felt like they were back energy wise.
Yeah.
Well, and their interviews seem less strained than they used to.
Yeah. Let's see, Butterfly. Dan, you mentioned this one was your favorite.
Come, my lady, come, my lady. Different butterfly.
Yeah, I did like this one quite a bit. The chorus, when that chorus hit, or maybe I don't know if it was necessarily called a chorus, but just that one part, the chord changes for me were really striking. For me, musically, I'm always looking for the good chord changes, and they picked some really, really good ones there that I would not have picked, but wish I would have. If that makes any sense. Like, oh God, I wish I came up with that.
At the beginning, this was the one that sounded to me like System of a Down.
I got a lot of Korn, personally. I did hear the System of a Down, but I did hear a lot of Korn in this one.
But then when it got like super I don't know, operatic in the chorus and like super soaring, like System of a Down doesn't tend to soar quite like that.
No, well, In parts they do.
In parts, but not for that long.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's what drew me to Chop Suey in the first place, was the cinematic way that it ended. You know, just the "I don't think you trust," and I was like, "Oh, this is interesting. This doesn't match the first part of the song at all."
Yeah.
I think I was thinking more along Korn with the Ching Chang song. That there was a lot of Korn in there, especially Ching Chang.
Yeah, I can see Jonathan Davis singing that song.
But yeah, Butterfly, yeah, that was probably my favorite. I want to make a note about Serge's voice. It's kind of like live by the voice, die by the voice, and he embraces how twangy his voice is. The toxicity of our city. He's got his Kermit the Frog thing going on, but and I think it was detracted somewhat from Butterfly, but also at the same time, because it's Serge, it just sounded like it did belong there. I kind of was listening to the music going, oh, this is great. Oh, there's his voice again. But not necessarily in a bad way, just like, oh, it's more familiar now, whereas the chorus was like transportative, I guess is the word I'm looking for.
Interesting. Next one, title track, Harakiri. This is my favorite one on the album.
We're the big birds? Is that what he's saying? We're the big birds. That's what he says, right? That's all I heard.
So the lyrics to this song are inspired by a story you heard about animals that committed, exploring the idea of animal suicide. Harakiri, also known as seppuku, is a term for ritual honor suicide of Japanese samurai, with the former term being more common in speech and the latter being more literary. And he was referring to a specific event where fish were, I'm not sure if this was like a theory or if this is something scientists discovered, but they were beaching themselves to die. And I don't know, maybe it's because the water was too toxic or something, but it's a song about environmentalism. And, you know, he was talking about the birds falling from the sky. And I think that the lyrics, I would say, are pretty powerful. And one question I'd like to ask you as the only parent here, because he mentions, the lyric, those who were born to die, and I think he's referring to whatever generation has to bear the brunt of climate change. It reminds me a lot of that Star Trek Next Generation episode where they're all on that planet that's slowly dying. The flute episode.
The flute episode.
The Inner Light.
Possibly the best episode.
Do you worry about your kid's future in this world that we have?
Oh, most definitely. I mean, how could you not? I do have hope and optimism, and I'm trying to do what I can to raise my child to be, a lover of nature and respecter of trees. She tried to pull a leaf off a tree today. I was like, no. It's alive. You don't want to hurt the tree. She just had this look on her face like, oh, my bad. So, yeah, it definitely is a worry for me. I try to, I like to plant a lot of things in my yard, and that's my kind of fuck you to the people that are destroying the environment.
We are recording this right after Hurricane Helene, by the way.
And the other one.
Yeah, and then there's the other one that
just roared through,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to say Maxine, but that's not right. Magellan. No, that's not it.
Yeah, I forgot.
Magoo. That's it. No.
The one that hit inland North Carolina just went through, and now the one that.
Yeah.
Then there's the one that just hit Florida that came right after that.
But climate change doesn't exist though. It's not a real thing.
Oh, but it is real, but humans didn't cause it. It's just suddenly happening in the last 100 years since the Industrial Revolution.
It's happened before.
Milton is the one that just hit Florida.
Have you ever read Milton, Captain?
Maybe Milton's just mad that Ron DeSantis stole his red stapler.
I'm thinking of the writer Milton, and you're thinking of the guy. I love that. See, you get all points of view on the show here.
Yeah. This one was very much a melodic hardcore song too, and it's the kind of environmental message that you do get from a lot of melodic hardcore. So, I could definitely this. This makes sense to me as being a part of a very particular scene.
Yeah, I remember in 2022 when the 10th anniversary of this album came around, Serge made a post about it, and I think the top post on his Instagram was some guy going, "And we haven't changed a goddamn thing since."
No.
Speaking of that, next song, Occupied Tears, a song about the Israeli-Palestine conflict, which was happening in 2012. Definitely been ramped up to 1 million in today's day.
Yeah, I liked. Not related to the subject of the song. I did like the snaky lead guitar with like kind of the crunchy like rhythm guitar and bass through a lot of it. Like the way they interplayed with each other.
What I really liked is how he used the jazz section to depict the subject of the song, imagining what it's like to live in a world without bombs and violence. I thought that was a really good use of that.
See, I didn't catch that at all, so thank you for pointing that out.
Yeah, the jazzy, bouncy lullaby bit towards the end, I did like that quite a bit.
Yeah.
Like when I said it was a little too long, I kind of think it should have ended there. But yeah.
Yeah.
There was one that ended too soon for me, and this one kind of feels the opposite. The Ching Chang. The end of that was Super Bowl halftime, wartime.
I liked the abrupt ending.
That's it.
I thought kind of just like leaving it hanging right there communicated kind of like a never-ending, like the rut we're stuck in.
Yeah.
Musically, I feel like at times this album was very much like Lucid Fugue, which is our project, which is, we not only embrace the idea of randomness and random stops here and there, or not stopping at all in some cases where we go on for 20 minutes slowing the song down, but we actually love that. I mean, that is just like the bread and butter. So anytime that I hear someone breaking out of a pattern when it comes to music, I just absolutely attach myself to that. I love it.
Yeah, that's something I think SERJ is very good at.
Yes.
By the way, Artificial Flesh on all streaming platforms and
Yes.
Bandcamp.
Yes, indeed. Artificial Flesh.
Yeah, and then overall, really good side. I don't think I really have too many complaints about the songwriting on this album. It's catchy, experimental, and poppy, which is hard to do.
Yeah, it's very approachable, except for a few moments. And the times that it isn't, it's not a flaw that it's not approachable. It just kind of stands out in contrast, like Ching Chime.
SERJ has the kind of voice that makes me think that sometimes he's self-aware about how his voice sounds. I want to ask him, like, do you know that you sound like you're just having way too much fun with this? It almost sounds like a joke. Or have you just embraced it? Like, okay, I guess this is just my voice.
I imagine
The latter, probably.
for my own, I didn't really like the sound of my own voice for a long time, and one thing that's really helped me break out of that is singing along to SERJ songs, because he does a really good job of having a unique voice and not giving a fuck.
Yes, there's a lot of R and E and R. Yeah, it's very, like, just deliberate and twangy. He doesn't try to round off any of the vowels or the endings or the R's at all. It's all there. And I respect that. I really do. Sometimes it's off-putting, but not necessarily for me in a way that's like, oh, I don't want to listen to this. It's more like, oh, I'm awake now.
Yeah, it kind of jolts you into place. Yeah, he's like, and a lot of his music, he's really good at that.
I also like vocalists who can cram a whole lot of syllables into a tiny bit of space.
Oh, yeah.
Again, something he's very good at.
Yeah.
That's that nimble voice, man. I mean, I swear to God, if you made a rap album, holy crap.
That's also why I oftentimes like bands where there's just like a dedicated lead singer who's not playing an instrument, because it's easier to do that kind of thing
Yeah.
when you're not concentrating on playing a lot of the time.
Unless you're Geddy Lee.
Yeah. I was on a pretty big REM kick recently, and Michael Stipe, like, that's his whole thing is, I have a hurricane, listen to yourself churn. Well, yeah.
I was just thinking about the Family Guy bit where Lois's dad was trying to sing along to that record.
I've never seen that. That sounds amazing.
I think it was that song. It was either that song or a similar song.
I have a hurricane. Oh, fuck this.
All right, so we'll move on to side 2 here. We got Deafening Silence, Forget Me Not, with a K.
Nodding? Is there nodding on this album? You have to tell me, otherwise it's entrapment.
There might be nodding on this album. One of my favorite comments from the Slipknot episode was somebody on TikTok went, "Nodding is not allowed on TikTok."
TikTok, I love you because you're perverts.
You might have to fill me in on what that means.
We will.
Sadly clueless.
I know we already have me explaining it on mic in another episode, but let's get the Dan reaction.
Oh, boy.
Okay, so when
we
when
have 2
wolves
episodes with
or
this.
dogs have sex, the penis kind of changes shape so that it stays inside. That way you can get puppies later. And so it kind of changes its shape into that like a knot, so that the male doesn't come out and just commit the sin of onanism.
Instead of coming out, he comes in.
He comes in.
So she just kind of okay.
Yeah. So a lot of internet perverts are really big into like furry porn, and so they're into like the idea of a human with a wolf penis that knocks.
Oh my god.
And when we did our
I'm sorry
Slipknot
I
episode,
asked.
it's werewolf themed, basically, because it's from a role-playing game called Werewolf the Apocalypse.
The Werewolf of Nottingham.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if any listeners out there, if you want more Slipknot nodding lore, check out our episode, The Art of Nodding. I remember when I told you I titled it that. You're like, you really titled it that?
Yeah.
Next song, Reality TV. I think that's one of my favorites on the album. Uneducated Democracy, Weave On, and it looks like the 2 bonus tracks from the deluxe edition are on this, Revolver and Tyrant's Gratitude. So we got those songs to look forward to. All right, any final thoughts before I drop the needle?
None, sir.
None. I'm gonna piss.
Okay.
Me too. You go first.
Everybody out there, go piss.
Hello?
Andrew, how's it going?
Steve, the restraining order.
Oh, that expired last week. Anyway, I just wanted to let you know, we have a new live release out called Live, Laugh, Love, The Alliterates, 2022 to 2024, now on our Bandcamp page, thealliterates.bandcamp.com. Go check it out.
Okay. I need to call my lawyer. Bye.
All right, welcome back.
And
That-
we're back.
That was side B of Harakiri. What'd you guys think?
That was weirder. Like I liked it. Like it started a lot slower than I thought it was going to. Like I thought it was an interesting move to like slow things down after the first side. But then I was kind of surprised that then the next 2 songs were also slower ones. And then I liked the way it wrapped things up by bringing it up again. Then the bonus tracks kind of threw off the flow. I think the bonus tracks were really good, though, and I would have liked them as part of the album proper, so maybe I would have rearranged the sides some. Like, start high energy and then slow it down and then end with the same 2. I don't know. But yeah, as a whole, I liked every song individually. I just kind of wonder about the flow.
I tend to disagree. I think that the ending with the thrash sound, I guess, pardon my ignorance of genre, but it felt thrashy to me. Was
That'd be a good
definitely a powerful way to end the album. I thought it was appropriate after the slowdown, so to speak, of the first one, Deafening Silence.
I agree with Dave in as much as I thought Weave On was the closer. I'm not sure if I would really rearrange the side, but maybe I would put Revolver before Deafening Silence and after Occupied Tears, and Tyrant's Gratitude maybe right after Uneducated Democracy. I think that would make sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, he probably just had to make some choices contractually. So Revolver went to Japan because that was the Japanese edition bonus track at first. And maybe Tyrant's Gratitude was something he was working on while the album was in post-production, and it ended up as a deluxe bonus track. Glad that they both exist and are listenable to now. Yeah, One thing I'm going to mention here is Serge has a quote about the production on here that I really liked. That I suddenly can't find. Where the fuck did it go? Okay, here we go. So it says here on Wikipedia, Harakiri differs from previous releases as 3 songs featured on it were initially sketched out on his iPad. He has himself declared that we must trick ourselves into writing in different ways to get unexpected results, which I think is a great philosophy when it comes to music.
And writing in general.
Yeah. And I suspect, and I'm not sure, but I suspect that Deafening Silence, Forget Me Not, and Reality TV were those 3 songs. They sounded like the beats seemed kind of hip-hop-ish to me.
Yeah, they definitely seemed like structured beats, like it was a drum machine, so to speak, as they used to call them back in the 80s, rather than an actual live drummer.
Yeah, and maybe they did use a live drummer, because it doesn't say anything about drum machine on here, but if they did, then the drummer imitated a drum machine.
Very much so. And if he did, then more props to him, man. That sounded very, in the pocket, very structured, very solid in terms of rhythmically, I guess.
Yeah, I liked like the gentle acoustic guitar mixed with kind of like the detuned synths with the hip hop drum beat in the back. It was an interesting left turn, and I liked following it.
One thing I also it sounds like Serge probably was thinking about the vinyl format when he was doing this, because there was a very definite shift after Occupied Tears and into the next side. It slipped into the 3, more chill electronic
Synthy
stuff, and then went into 2 songs that were more thrashy, more speed metal. Uneducated Democracy, I think, could have been a System of a Down song
easily.
Yeah, and Weave On, you noted, had more of a punk feel than most System of a Down songs, but I could also see them doing that one. Going through the original tracks, going through the individual tracks here, we have Deafening Silence. What do you guys think of that one?
My comment was flamenco guitar meets Aphex Twin.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I liked the way the guitars and synth played off of each other, and I thought it fit his voice and vocal delivery really well. This one was him doing all like the slow soaring vocals. It was pretty.
Without his vocal uniqueness to tie the song together, it might have sounded almost desperately unique. In fact, in terms of just like, ooh, how can we make this song as strange and weird as possible? We have some flamenco guitar, and then we have some Aphex Twin shit come in. But I think, again, because of the uniqueness of his voice and how it does have this like operatic quality as well as this comedic quality at the same time, really does help to, weld all of that together into something that feels like a cohesive whole.
Yeah, I agree that it had a really pretty vibe to it, and the way that his vocals soared during it, I think, was very nice use of his voice, and it made a very catchy track, and that's one that sticks in my head after I listen to it. And then I think it kind of flowed right into the next song, Forget Me Not. I don't remember there being a really strong wall between the two, because I think we were just kind of talking, and it's it's Forget Me Not now.
Yeah, the strongest wall was when the piano came in, which I really did like the piano on it. It was the most noteworthy part of the song to me.
Agreed. I love the piano. It felt, I don't know. It felt driving, rhythmic, and also at the same time atmospheric. It was a mood, as they say, as the teens say nowadays.
It was a vibe.
It's a whole mood. Vibe, yeah, maybe it's that.
And then probably my favorite song on this side is the next one, Reality TV. I think it had a really catchy guitar part. Was that a guitar, or was it a...
Are you talking about the chorus, or?
Is that the one that sounded like a Spanish hacienda at the beginning?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a guitar.
And that voice comes in with the synths, and my comment here is Spanish hacienda. Then that voice again with the synths. What the fuck?
I liked how it was like a slow building of the energy too. Like it was getting it back to the level of what they were going to close on, where it started, you know, kind of with the same mellow stuff, but then it got kind of into, you know, like the crunchier, like electric guitar stuff on the chorus, and it was kind of like a slow build up back up to what it was before.
Yeah, and it really did help pave the way into Uneducated Democracy, which is probably the most metal song on this album. If you're a System of a Down fan who hasn't heard this album and you're looking for something that's more like System of a Down, you're not going to find a lot of it on this album. But this song is one I could have seen being a System of a Down song.
Is that the Thanks for Allowing Us to Fuck You song?
Yes.
Yeah.
Uneducated Democracy.
Yeah, that for me, and this is definitely a compliment. For me, there was times when it had a very Metallica feel to me. It was just very chuggy and driving and heavy.
Yeah.
I did enjoy that quite a bit.
Another song that unfortunately has aged very well.
Yeah. There's machines and there's fists.
I think Serj himself is one of those people who's probably like, I can't imagine it being any worse than Bush, and then Trump comes along.
Yeah. I give my left nut for Bush at this point.
Bush was still bad. Bush.
Okay, right nut. I like that one less.
Bush without Cheney, maybe.
Maybe.
Bush
is still evil.
But it's still just hilarious that Cheney is the one who's now like
I know.
supporting Harris.
My favorite part of a recent Daily Show episode was Jon Stewart was talking about I think it was the DNC or a Kamala event of some kind where they were just like, hey, we got Dick Cheney on our side, and he was just pretty much like, oh, and fuck Dick Cheney.
Yeah, not a great guy.
Yeah, we really don't need that guy in our party. Like, thank you for not supporting Trump, but fuck off. Then the closer was lyrically written by Stephen Sater, who is a poet and a playwright, called Weave On, which had a great rock punk type energy, and great song overall, I'd say.
Yeah, when you guys were saying that this sounded more like a System of a Down song than some of the early ones on the sound, it's like this sounded more punky to me, which made me wonder, like, some of the difference between Serj and System of a Down is if Serj sees what they're doing as more of a punk thing than the rest of the band does, which might explain some of the splits too.
Yeah, and I think that probably is the case. I have heard them talk about, like, having musical differences where, like, you know, the guys in, like, the other guys in System are more into, you know, bands like Slayer.
Yeah,
That's the first one that comes to mind. I mean, when they named themselves, they went, "Oh, let's pick something with an S, so we're next to Slayer on the shelf."
Yeah.
So.
There's no way Serj isn't into Dead Kennedys.
Oh, well, absolutely. In fact, I think there's footage of him talking with Jello on some kind of show somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah, I liked how this one kind of did like the high energy punkier thing, but made it, you know, like in a lot of other songs doing like the high energy punky thing was then in contrast to the soaring. It was happening at the same time, basically.
Well, and in contrast to the punkier songs on side one, like those were more pop punk, and this one I think was just more straight up.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I would say if you're a System of a Down fan looking for more things that sound like System of a Down, and as far as I can tell, when I look at, like, comments on, like, their subreddit or, like, on forums and stuff, this album, I think, is kind of cold to most System of a Down fans. A lot of times I see people, I like the title track, and that's about it. So if you're looking for that, don't listen to this one. Listen to Elect the Dead. But if you are looking for more stuff like that, then Uneducated Democracy and Weave On are both, I think, would translate very well to that listening palette.
Or if you're like, yeah.
That said,
yeah.
Maybe open your mind a bit and just listen to the album and not expecting it to sound like System of a Down. And you might enjoy it for other reasons.
If you're like me and you like both punk music and experimental electronica stuff, this is a really good album. Like, I'll probably listen to it again.
And I was gonna say, I think audience-wise, we probably have more people that are into the stuff that you bring in, just because I've brought in like really weird things so far, which is gonna change next season. I've already mapped out which ones I've picked, and for the next season, I've decided I'm gonna pick like some of my favorites rather than some of the weird ones.
Some of the, hey, check this shit out. Yeah.
So we're gonna have things like Mastodon's Crack the Sky albums and stuff like that. I speculate that there's probably people that are more into what Dave brings in, because he's brought in some of the best examples of the stuff that he listens to. So if that's the case, and you're more into what Dave brings into, I think you'll like this album.
Yeah. Let's talk about the bonus tracks a little bit. Revolver sounded like Oingo Boingo. Like, it sounded like a number of the songs on the early Oingo Boingo records that the horn section was just playing percussion.
You know, Serge is an Oingo Boingo fan.
Yeah.
I heard Thompson Twins when the first song first kicked in, but yeah, basically just 80s synth feel right away. And
But kind of that bouncy, like, it sounded more polka than ska, but, you know, like Oingo Boingo was a ska band that could lean into kind of that polka sound too, so yeah.
Yeah, I really liked how weird and bouncy it was, but also heavy.
Yeah.
Like you don't hear that combined a lot. I mean, you do with System of a Down, but they're like what, them and maybe Primus and Mr. Bungle.
Yeah, and it had like that Oingo Boingo style synth to it too. Yeah.
And then Tyrant's Gratitude, I thought had a great vibe overall. Some great lyrics, also written by Steven Sater.
Yeah.
And
sounded like Faith No More to me.
Yeah.
That
And
was the last one, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
The last one, but it's a bonus track, not the closer. So yeah.
That definitely embraced the goofy, silly vibe that Serge seemed to be really favoring when he was in System of a Down. So I appreciated that too. And that's my, if you like the goofy System of a Down that makes you laugh and go, that's funny, then you probably like this album.
Yeah, that last track sounded a little unfinished to me. Like maybe it could have just gone through a little more, tighten it up a little at the end, maybe.
Yeah, I can
But
see that.
yeah, but it was good. I could kind of feel. I'll need to listen to it some more to give more concrete examples. But the two songs by Sayer, like lyrically, I could kind of tell it was a different person writing.
Yeah.
Like the word choice and how the words fit into the structure of the song felt different.
It didn't flow quite as well, I thought.
Yeah.
At times.
It felt more like poetry too, and less like lyrics. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I definitely noticed that when I was listening to it. So yeah, now I often talk about how I don't like to spend more than like $20-$25 on a vinyl. I actually spent $40 on this one.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Well, it was a good one.
Yeah, I don't do that often, but this is one that I like enough that I did that. I'll probably buy Elect the Dead at some point because that's another great one. If you like this album, the one that he did right before this one, Imperfect Harmonies, is interesting because between Elect the Dead and Imperfect Harmonies, he did a album of songs that were all from Elect the Dead, but he did it with a symphony in Australia. So when he did his next album, it was a lot of symphonic rock. I like that one a lot. His new EP that he just put out, I also think was really good. That's kind of more of a System of a Down vein. And Elasticity was 5 songs that he was going to.
Elasticity of our kitty.
Those are 5 songs that he intended to be on the next System of a Down record, and then they all had too much infighting. So he's like, "Fine, I'm gonna release it on my own then."
With blackjack and hookers.
He needs to do a whole album with song titles where the words end with city. Elasticity, toxicity, plasticity. That's my thought.
I don't know any other things that end with city.
Can't think of any at the moment.
There's probably like a zillion. Overall, yeah, great album. There's not a song on this one I dislike. I thought I disliked Ching Cham, but now I seem to like it. So
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah. Like when you're listening to it critically, what works about it stands out more than what might seem off-putting when you're listening to it casually, I think.
Yeah. Sometimes I've noticed that, like, when I've seen bands live even, a song that I was cold on until I saw them play it live. Dan, you and I went to see Rush on their last tour, and I remember that being the case for, what was it, the Anarchists, I think?
Yeah.
For some reason, I don't remember latching onto that song until after we saw that show.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, the whole Clockwork Angels album was a slow one for me, but it finally caught on.
Yeah, it's a good one. Next season, I'm planning on doing Snakes and Arrows because that's one of my favorite Rush albums.
Please bring me in for that one. Hell yeah.
Such a lot of pain on the earth.
I don't know if I would call that my favorite Rush album because I don't know if I could just pick one, but it's definitely up there, which is, usually
solid tracks.
Yeah, usually a band doesn't release something that great, in my opinion, that late in their career.
Yeah, for sure.
No, yeah, it was. I knew some people who didn't like it, and I thought they were wrong. But I wouldn't list it as one of my favorite Rush albums either. It's an interesting one, though. Yeah.
Well, that was Harakiri.
The old Midwestern signal to get out. Well,
Well,
time to hit the old musty train.
Yeah, that was interesting. I'm glad you brought that one.
Yeah, that was fun.
yeah, I figured that would be one that we would all enjoy quite a bit, and not like the Diano album or the Ace Frehley album, where that was interesting, but not for musical reasons.
Yeah.
It was interesting. It was complex, but not exhaustively so, which for me is a big thing. Even though my own music tends toward that direction, complexity to the point of exhaustion, and I'm sorry about that. But that's what I felt like. Is that it was just enough to latch onto. Not necessarily overstaying its welcome.
And it felt like an interesting contrast to that Dream Theater one we did recently, where I felt like I could understand why the abrupt changes happen and follow them with the song rather than just be like, oh, what the hell? Yeah.
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 Changes should never be what the hell. They should always be, all right, I like this.
It's interesting as I've been listening to a bit of Dream Theater since we did that episode, and I enjoy them very much as musicians, but not as songwriters, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's the knock I hear on them quite a bit.
Yeah. I mean, one thing I will say is I criticized James LaBrie a lot in that episode, and listening back to it now, because I listened to the album after that and then Awake. And that was before he had his unfortunate food poisoning incident. He was a great vocalist on those two albums, and I think he's since got his voice back. But there was a pretty rough period, so I don't know. If somebody thought I was a bit too rough on him, sorry.
His address is blah 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 blah.
I know. I saw an interview where he was like upset that people give him a bunch of shit, and it's like, no, you're a good vocalist. I'm not a great vocalist, and I still sing. And I think he's a better vocalist than me. It's just sometimes he's just not in my favorite wheelhouse. But
Yeah.
Dan, you are in a band with us called Lucid Fugue, but you have another project that recently released an album.
I am. I did. I was. I am. Yes. Shrouded Day. I recently released my dancey techno album called Photania. It's got some originals on it and also some remastered ones from old albums. It was just an excuse for me to take all my beat-heavy albums, my dancey albums, or songs, I should say, and put them on one album. So that's all that is.
I remember.
Check it out. It's on Bandcamp.
I particularly enjoyed. What was the second song on that?
Data.
Yeah, I particularly enjoyed that one.
Thank you.
And then on
or Data, depending on how you pronounce it.
one is my name, the other is not. And then keep an eye out on my website. I'll be releasing my first solo single, Incompatibility / Working Class Hero.
Woohoo!
Working Class Hero has Dave on backing vocals, along with our guitar player Sean in the Alliterates on acoustic guitar, and some great backing vocals from our friend Anna Schmidt, who does art and is also in local bands. And then Incompatibility is all me.
Oh, and of course, Working Class Hero has lyrics and music by John Lennon.
Yes,
Oh, interesting.
that one guy.
It's a cover.
I gotta
yeah,
hear
it's a cover of what's probably his best solo song, if not his best song.
I have mixed feelings about John Lennon because he was a complicated person, but goddamn if the lyrics of that song just don't fucking hit me where it hurts sometimes.
Yeah.
That was one that was very easy for me to sing because like it was very easy for me to mean the lyrics on that one.
Gotcha.
So,
Yeah.
I plan on releasing that on Election Day, but not because of Election Day, but because that was Eugene V. Deb's birthday. And my album has kind of a workers' rights / our working culture is shit vibe to it. And, you know, as a socialist, I thought I wanted to pick an American socialist hero to kind of talk about, because I opened it up with a quote that he gave to court when he was being railroaded by the justice system. And I think American socialist heroes need to be celebrated more. You know, a lot of people talk about the heroes who, you know, headed up other countries, but we have them here. They're buried because of the way our country is, but, you know, Eugene Debs, I think, was one of the real ones.
Yeah, so is Bill Haywood. But hey, anyway,
Yeah.
This isn't a history podcast. Anything else to wrap things up?
I think that's all I got.
All right.
Enjoyable.
Yeah, we'll catch you on the flip side.
Peace out, y'all.
Wah, wah.
Hey, everybody, thanks for tuning in to the podcast. Now, check out our song, Nothing New, Waste of Space, Nothing New reprised, off our new live double bootleg album, Live, Laugh, Love the Alliterates, 2022 to 2024. Now available on all sorts of streaming platforms and Bandcamp. Here we go.
Hello, Dr. Jax. We're the Alliterates. We're going to get things kicked off. Says 1, 2, 3, 4.
Better than the Ben Shapiro version.
Ben Shapiro version.
That's quite an accomplishment.
Oh, it's
Yeah, he was like bitching about it, so he like read the lyrics out like on his stupid show, and so somebody like made it into the song. Wet ass P word.
I just want to.
Usually I expect those conservative nerds to have different personas behind the scenes. I think Ben Shapiro is 100% himself.
Yeah, no, I think Matt Walsh is too. I think Crowder's definitely meaner, even meaner behind the scenes, though.
Well, I was thinking like Michael Knowles. I don't think he's as
No.
like clean cut or whatever behind the scenes.
No.
It's like that Family Guy episode where Brian becomes best friends with Rush Limbaugh.
God. Dan, check into your mic.
Check, 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 check. Nice and quiet. Quiet, quiet, quiet. Buzz, 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 buzz. You're tuning into NPR.
Fortunately, I don't have to worry about you suddenly getting
all
loud
day.
like Dave.
Buzz,
so.
buzz, 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 buzz. No. That is true.
Oh, I can sometimes get loud!
Wow, that was quite a clip. Look at that clip.
That is nice. Nice big chunk of sound right there. P word.
How does an adult have a voice that sounds like that? He sounds like he's 12.
Where's this schmuck?
And it gets significantly more vulgar. Like a lot more vulgar.
Oh man.
I found out about it because I was still on Twitter at the time, and Lindsay Ellis posted, "Yeah, man, conservative is the new punk rock."
Mm.
Oh my god, freaking insurance bullshit.
How am I doing? How are my levels?
You look good.
Okay.
Kleenex
Which
around
one?
here
Which
somewhere?
am I 2?
You're the top one.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Wet ass P word.
Give it everything you've got for this wet ass P word. That's still not the funniest thing he's ever done. The funniest thing he's ever done is when he went to Home Depot and bought a single board to virtue signal.
Very supportive, Ben.
Yeah. That picture of him holding like a single board and a little plastic baggie.
That'd be a funny gag gift for somebody to just
Yeah.
get buy him a single board.
Yeah. You can tell he's never shopped for his own hardware in his life by that picture.
Yeah. Is he a Nepo baby? Is his
Yeah,
parents?
he's a Nepo baby.
Yeah.
He, like his whole story arc was he wanted to be a writer, but he was never good enough, and he's dealing with the rejection of that. If you ever want to listen to any number of leftist podcasts cover his book, True Allegiance.
Oh, I've heard Robert talk about his book before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Robert did it with some more news people like
Yeah.
Cody and Katie, which is the best people to do that with, I think.
Side 1, Side B is a Floof Goof Studios production. Check us out on the interwebs by going to my website, killrockmusic.com. That's KILRAVOCK music.com. And there's a tab for Side 1, Side B. And additionally, you can check out me and Dave's projects, The Alliterates and Lucid Fugue, respectively. You can also check us out on Instagram at KillRockMusicSWS and Dave_Diction. Thank you.
Waka waka. Suck it. What's up?
Let's shut the fuck up.
We're gonna choke you.
My mouth is on fire.
Let me show you how to jam.
Wrong.
flip, flip, flip.
All right, good.
I hate the Holocaust too.
I hate that you made me think of that.